Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're going to break down India's ambitious new plan to regulate AI. We're talking about a full-on effort to tackle the growing and, let's be honest, often dangerous problem of deepfakes. To really get why this is such a huge deal, you just have to listen to the words of actor Rashmika Mandanna. After a fake video of her went viral, she called the whole thing extremely scary. And that right there perfectly captures the personal and pretty violating nature of this tech when it's used the wrong way. But here's the thing. That one high-profile incident, it's really just the tip of the iceberg. What it does is shine a massive spotlight on a much, much larger and more dangerous challenge that's popping up all across India's digital world. And this threat, well, it's not just one thing. We're talking about the whole shebang. Using deepfakes to try and manipulate elections, creating horrible non-consensual imagery, committing straight-up fraud, and just causing widespread damage to people's reputations. The potential for harm here is just enormous. Okay, so when you're faced with a threat that's moving this fast, what do? Well, the Indian government has decided to act, and they're proposing a pretty significant update to the laws that govern the internet. In this solution, it comes in the form of a major amendment to the country's IT rules, and it's aimed squarely at this new wave of AI-generated content. And they are not messing around with the timeline. I mean, this is moving fast. The draft rules were put out in late October 2025. The public had just a couple of weeks to comment, and the plan is to start enforcing them almost immediately after that. All right, so what are these new rules actually all about? What do they propose? Let's get into the nitty-gritty. Okay. First things first, the government is creating this brand new, super broad legal definition, synthetically generated information. You can think of it as a giant umbrella term. It's designed to be a catch-all, covering not just deepfake videos, but also AI-edited photos, AI-generated voices, and even AI text. And that right there brings us to the absolute core of this new regulation. It's all about transparency. The whole idea is to make sure that you, the user, always know when you're looking at or listening to something that isn't real. And when I say specific, I mean incredibly specific. This isn't just some vague suggestion to label stuff. No. For images and videos, the label has to be permanent and cover at least 10%. 10% of the whole thing. It's meant to be a huge, unmissable marker. So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, it's a huge shift from, ambiguity and guessing to crystal clear clarity. Under these new rules, content would have this unavoidable overlay telling you exactly what it is you're looking at. But wait, it goes way deeper than just a visual sticker. We're talking about a full-on digital fingerprint. The rules say every single piece of synthetic content needs a unique ID. Plus, the file's metadata has to contain its entire history, where it came from, the AI tool that made it, and every change made. And for audio, a spoken warning has to play within the first 10%. Okay, so we've got the labeling part down. But beyond that, these new rules are also creating a much faster, more accountable way to get harmful stuff taken down. And the government is really tightening that timeline. So here's how this new super fast process works. It all starts with a formal written order from a court or a specific government authority. Once a platform gets this, and the law calls it actual knowledge, a clock starts ticking, and they have just 36 hours to get that content down. All right, let's get to the big question. What does all this actually mean for you, for everyone online in India? Because these changes are going to be felt by everyone, from the biggest tech companies down to individual creators. Let's just break this down, because everyone has a new job to do here. Platforms, they now have to put all this labeling in place and hit that 36-hour takedown window. Creators, they have to self-declare any AI content they make. And even the government is held to a higher standard. Senior officials have to issue clear written orders. Basically, the whole digital ecosystem has a new set of responsibilities. And for the big platforms, the stakes here are absolutely massive. Right now, they're protected by something called safe harbor. It's basically a legal shield that means they aren't usually liable for what their users post. If they don't follow these new rules, they could lose that protection, and that opens them up to huge legal and financial risks. It's a really powerful reason to comply. With regulations this bold, India isn't just trying to solve a problem at home. It's really stepping onto the world stage and positioning itself as a potential leader in this whole global conversation about how we govern AI. And if you look around the world, you'll see this is a trend. The EU, China, they've got their own rules requiring labeling or watermarking. But India's approach, it really stands out for just how strict it is. And that's the key thing to remember here. It's that specific, quantitative, 10% visible label requirement. That's what makes this proposal one of the toughest and most prescriptive anywhere in the entire world right now. But of course, making this work is going to be a really delicate balancing act. You've got to ask, right? Will the final law be clear enough? Can the tech platforms actually build what's needed to comply? And the big one, can all of this be done without accidentally crushing free speech and creative expression? Look, by demanding this kind of transparency, India is making a huge statement. They're choosing accountability over ambiguity in this new age of AI. And that leaves us with a massive question. As the world's biggest democracy with one of the fastest growing internet populations, will India's strict approach become a blueprint for the rest of the world, or a cautionary tale about the high price of control? The answer to that is going to shape the future of the internet for everyone.